Hello, and welcome to the episode number 8 of What's Up with Startups. And today I'm excited to introduce you Vlad Batkhin from Voltcore. And Voltcore is making heating smart and going green. Hello, Vlad. Pleasure to have you here.
Hi, Emin. Hi, guys. Happy to see you, and thanks for inviting.
Okay, so Vlad is the founder and CEO of Voltcore, a company that is innovating the heat and how we heat our devices, how we heat our homes. And Vlad, thank you. And tell me first, for me and for those who don't know you, a little bit about your company. What do you do? What is your product?
Okay, so we help to fight the climate change through new gen of heating materials, which ultimately economize energy and help to reduce CO2 emissions. The technology itself related to conductive polymer filament, which is our proprietary material, and which can be placed very close to the material that should be heated. And thus we economize on the energy dissipated, and we also can economize on the timing to do preheating. And putting all together, we can help to cut energy spendings from 2 times up to unbelievable 6, 7, 8 in some cases. And this is a very important thing because heating itself as the application is responsible for about 40% of overall CO2 emissions. Of course, these emissions are related not only to household heatings, it's also like industrial heating, etc. We cannot currently contribute to all type of heating, but we can help to economize energy spendings for households, for some industrial applications, and automotive.
So just to kind of ground it, can you give an example, say, for households? What would it be like? Like heated floor or something else?
Okay, yeah, let's go say for a floor heating. Um, so currently, what are the main solutions for the floor heating? This is fluid system, which goes through the piping and typically fitted with a gas boiler with heated water. There are lots of studies showing that losses of energy through the distribution of the water and through the spendings of electricity for the piping, for the pumping, are around 80%. So only 20% delivered to the floor, actually. Yeah. And then just imagine that you use this system and it has a huge inertia. That means that no smart home algorithm can help you to economize on the heating because you cannot turn it on and not to wait about an hour or around an hour and a half to get the floor heated. That means that you also spend lots of energy to do preheating job, which is actually about heating the layer between the pipe and between the surface of your floor. Things are a little bit better when we use metallic alloy cable, but it still should be put from a couple of centimeters up to 5-6 centimeters from the floor to prevent overheating. And it also takes lots of energy which gonna dissipate while the heating process. And cabling system also have this great inertia. In our case, we can put our material right under the wood deck or ceramic tile and do heating as quick as it possible. So the savings there, we're currently the tricky thing that we haven't found any comprehensive studies that can show the difference in the energy spent for doing the same job. In our understanding, is bringing the same temperature level for the surface, say, of the floor. So currently, we made in our R&D center in Luxembourg like separate stands, and we are testing different materials, and we check in the temperature, the timing for doing preheating, and the overall energy which was consumed to deliver the proper temperature. And we can see currently the results, and we see that, say, compared to metallic cabling system, we can reduce timing up to 10 times in the heating. And compared with the energy consumed, it also depends on the, on the layer, on the whether we use reflector material or not. But it varies from 2 times to 3.5 times in overall economization. For sure, we're moving forward with, developing and upgrading the product. As I mentioned, we designed reflecting material, which simply heats only in one direction. It also helps to economize. So I believe we will reach very good results. And I'm waiting for the results of real tests in the, with use of smart home algorithm that will help us to calculate what are actual savings in, real life.
Okay. Right. So this is electrification of heating, in a sense. So you use the electricity to heat up your polymer, right? And so this way you switch away from fossil fuel-based home heating like gas, right? And you eliminate the necessity for water heating inside, right?
Yeah, absolutely correct. So we use electricity. We need some energy to do this work, right? And yeah, it can be electrification, or it may be like even replacement of metal cable systems, which are also like use electricity to power it, but we can economize on the energy.
Okay, great. And how long have you been doing this in this startup in Voltcore?
Okay, so I believe, let me remember. So we started first tests around 3 years ago, and it wasn't about heating. It was about checking conductivity properties that we can gain in the polymer, and actually, I believe maybe last year, yeah, we decided that the best thing we can do with our polymer filament is like use it in a heating. We started to study this, industry and comparing our material to others, and we revealed that it seems that we crafted something exceptional for the heating industry. And we decided that it's worth of combining our forces to go and to do the startup there.
Okay,
startup, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you here, but this is an interesting kind of story of pivot. It's what people talk all the time about. This is like, I see it's a really good example, except that I don't yet know what was your initial aim when you were working on that, like 3 years ago, when you were starting, what you had in mind. What were you doing this for?
Yeah, but this is, it wasn't like the great pivot, really. We started with checking, conductivity properties and, getting the very thin polymer wire that can be used in different applications. And you can simply imagine that might be like a neural interfaces, that might be, microelectronics, et cetera, because it's ready to be used in 3D printing. It can be used to, connect any type of devices, and it may easily replace metals inside. So that was like the greater idea behind. And when we understood what range of resistivity we can get, we decided that this is like the best thing for the heat.
Okay, but even before that, if we rewind, like even prior to those 3 years, so you were working on that project as a part of something of some corporate initiative, or this was your own endeavor, your own business? Because it seems like you were working on the technology that could have a lot of application. To me, sounds like very science intensive lab-based research, where when you're just feeling your way around, okay, we have this, okay, what we can use it for. So, well, what was the motivation, what was the driving force then for you? I mean,
Yeah, this is like
maybe there was some
this
like,
is
okay, here's a grant, like can you check this out?
yeah, this is a good question. So actually, I personally come from corporate petrochemical background, both in R&D and business development.
Mhm.
And for sure, that was, a huge leverage to test some hypothesis when you work in a huge petrochemical company. And my partners, they're also from polymer science industry, and we have like, it wasn't like the corporate venture. It wasn't even like the corporate idea. It was like, sitting and thinking, uh, discussing like new properties of new materials, say like graphene nanotubes that were introduced in the market recently, and what does it mean to the polymer industry, and what can be done from it. And there was like the idea whether we can do like the tiny polymer 3D printed wire, which
Mhm.
will can be broadly used and replace the metals there. So I believe that for sure we took advantage of having this background, but it was like the private effort.
Okay, so when was that moment when you realized, okay, we're going to do the startup now with this? Like we're
Wow.
going to do it inside the corporation. Um, we're not trying to, find some employment. No, we're going to do a startup. We're going to do it on our own.
Okay, I think that's uh, the decision was made when we received like the stable lab result
Mhm.
for the filament itself, like the mechanical thing, and for the conductivity inside this filament. Because it was like, uh, so in the theory, it should work, but uh, sometimes in practice, there are lots of, you know, gaps between theory and the reality. And I believe that the decision that we can, quit our jobs and jump into a startup was when we received stable results from the lab. So we understood that yes, we can. So our hypothesis about the nanostructure inside, about the properties, about reaching the conductivity, is generally confirmed, and it seems that we have something new for the market, which is way more, superior in terms of, lightweight, versatility, cost of production, et cetera, et cetera. And given this competitive advantage, it looked for us, wow, it seems we can do a great business there.
Okay. And then that was around the same time when you decided that this was for heating purposes, or a bit earlier?
Yeah, I believe it was a little bit earlier.
So you
But
didn't have like a market.
that was, it was really close because
Mhm.
the thing is about physics, right? So we started to collect data related to the resistivity that we can have on the filament, and we are currently limited with some range, like from couple of kilo ohms to couple of mega ohms. And this resistivity is not for huge energy
Mhm.
transmission. It is about heating. It is about lower signal transmission, or it's about doing some um, absorption or screening. And from all these three things, I believe that the heating is the huge one. And also, I need to put that I was like responsible for sustainability projects for many years, and together with the whole team, the teams are also coming from the Greentech and sustainability things like polymer recycling,
Mhm.
etc. And for me, that was like very important to put with this business something to the community and help to fight climate change.
Okay.
And when we when we learned that the heating is about 40% of CO2 emissions, and we can help to economize some of that, the decision was quite straightforward. Huge market, great impacts on the climate. Why shouldn't we go and do that?
Mhm. Okay. So now, at what stage are you? So you've been working on this like for more than a year now, focusing on a specific market. And what is the stage now? I mean, what is your like? If you go to T-Rails, then maybe in T-Rail, but maybe you have already a first of a kind product, or you move into a first of a kind factory. Uh, where are you now?
Okay. Yeah, I think I got the question. So currently at this point of time, we believe we're TRL 5,
Mhm.
and we are funded to build a pilot plant in
Mhm.
Luxembourg. And moreover, we started to do that, and we are launching our first stage as soon as end of this week.
Mhm.
So this will be like TRL 7 in terms of the scale and in terms of proving the scale technology. Unfortunately, the pilot plant isn't scaled at the top of what is required to be fully scaled in terms of capacities, in terms of having under one roof all stages. And we have like 4 stages of production, starting from our special master batch production, drawing filament,
Mhm.
weaving textiles, and then laminating these textiles in a very specific way to ensure the best uh, best work of the heating material. And to do that, we are going to raise extra to do extra round next year and raise enough money to go and build first of a kind plant, which will be fully scaled and have all these stages under the one roof. So we can do further economization and get these products, as quick as it possible and get it as cheap as it possible.
What prevented you from going immediately, say, to doing all the 4 stages together? Or was it like the investors wanted to, or you didn't find the right investor? Investors say, no, you guys, let's just do small ones, like a couple of just 1 or 2 stages. What was the reason?
Okay, yeah, that raising money is one of of the reasons, because to do like the first of a kind thing, we need around $30 million to build this. Getting just from the lab and raising this type of money is quite difficult without getting pre-orders from clients, without getting the whole procedures of testing, homologation of the product, doing proof of concept with the clients. So I can hardly believe that someone can do that, but maybe.
But you did.
We decided to do it like step by step, doing pilot plans where we can, reconfirm everything we received in lab, understand how the product changes when you do scale up, produce this product, distribute this product across the clients, receive feedback, if required, adjust something, and start to collect the pre-orders for some, larger amounts. And, when we started, it was like, okay, let's sell some samples, and this will be like the, some kind of victory. And currently we're discussing, the contracts for around 1 million square meters, and having such type of offtakes in the discussion at least, or even signed, it's a very good thing to come up and raise money for building the plant that can supply this amount, right? So I believe that this stage approach was right for us, and I think that we will even that despite the fact that we already prepared the design for the first of a kind plant, I think that after we will run the pilot plant, we will change some things related to the technology, to the equipment placement, to the regimes, etc., etc. Maybe we will choose a little bit different type of equipment, and we will monetize and better use this knowledge that we will receive from the pilot plant, and that we will receive from the clients which are working with our product. And maybe the third thing I believe, which is also it's like type of bureaucracy, but this is very important part of bureaucracy, that if we're speaking about the materials that should be plugged into a faucet with 220 volts, it should be certified. And it's very hard to certify the product without a plant where it's produced. And so our plan, our roadmap also includes that we will receive full safety certification before we jump into the next round and build in first of a kind.
So can I say that you actually, to sell your product, your client required like, certification, but to actually have a certification, you need some factory, right? Because you get certified also in your work procedures, work practices. So it's a backwards kind of logic that, okay, we cannot come and say to investors, okay, here we have customers, we already sold them some. Now we need to build factory for that. No, we actually need to build a factory, get it certified. We have customers waiting for that. They might consider our product when it's certified. So let's put the money in, let's build a small factory, let's get it certified, let's put out the first product, and then we're going to maybe we will rethink some of the processes, and then we'll do another bigger one.
Yeah, but actually it's like that, but we need to look at this problem from a different point of view. So say if we're talking about automotive, actually there is no obligatory certification there. You need to go to the OEM to do tests, to do homologation, to reconfirm the safety, etc. And you will be certified from the OEM side or from the tier side. It always considered like the long way to be done. But let's go to the buildings and construction market. And these guys, responsible for the safety, and nobody wants, their children to, put their on the risk by, putting some new material under floor, which might do some problems and occur to, say, inflammation or something like that. And I believe that this is like the necessity of this type of market. Because, say, I also do not want to, in my house, I do not want to use materials which aren't proved to be safe, right? So this is like the necessity we need to get inside. Sometimes we have like lighter things, so we can test something without certification, and we are currently doing that without having like safety certificate. But in the case you want to approach like a large market, you should stand for the standards of safety. And we're feeling very, I would like say, positive regarding receiving the safety certificates, because the material itself, I would say it's easily melted. So compared to the cable, say, so the cable can be heated up to the huge temperatures, higher than 500 degrees, right? And in the case you have some, junctions or, poor cable, the resistance there will lead to higher temperatures on this side. So you need to put this cable in a very, very specific type of isolation, flame retardant based, and you should be nervous about getting to this type of temperature, because it can lead, and actually sometimes unfortunately it leads to inflammation situation. Lots of guys that have problems with even with electricity cables in old houses, they know what it is. This is like a real problem. And in our case, we're dealing with the material which will be melted like at the 130 degrees, and so the circuit will be broken, and no electricity will go through this system. So it's safe by design, and I believe that it's also like a very good feature related to our product.
Okay, let's go now into more nitty-gritty stuff of making the startup. So as you are, so far as I understand, you were good with your initial team of founders and experts who are working on that. But now that you want to build the first plant, you are going to scale your team, right? So how do you approach that? How you work with the hiring of people, expanding your team?
Okay, so I would split it into two types of staff that we are hiring. And so the first one is the guys that should work on site. So these are chemists, engineers, and R&D guys. And this is like the thing, unfortunately, that can be hardly scaled. And we use like the handle picking there. We use like friends that can recommend us some good polymer science, some good electric engineers, etc. So currently I build up the core of the team here in Luxembourg fully by going across my friends from different companies that working in this field and checking the proper persons that they recommended me. And I believe that this will be like the good cure, and we can also invite some guys from the different locations and the different countries and the build to build the expertise here in Luxembourg. And when we speak about positions that can be done remotely, like junior sales positions, like some administrative titles, etc. We already started to broadly use LinkedIn to do hiring campaigns and to attract right people. I believe that the hiring is like I believe that for all startups, hiring right is one of the main issues, and because you cannot find people that know your product because the product is new, right? And you need to find people with quite flexible mindset, ready to study, ready to learn more, ready to change. And we're looking for people like that, which will be happy to learn more, and that can, offer that to the market.
Is there any particular tactic, question, some marker that you use to understand that, okay, this person, she can be taught, so she's flexible, adaptable, exactly like what you're looking for in this for this main characteristic of an employee?
Okay, yeah, I think that there are a couple of things that we're doing each time, and when we can check whether we share the values that we think are required to doing this job good. And I use for all hiring, I typically use some case studies based on my consulting background hiring, because when you do case study, you can check how does the person think about, how does he act in the situation where lack of information, when he need to put some his assumptions into the solution of the task. And it can tell you lots of things about how does he think, how does he make decision, etc. I really love doing case studies during the interview. And the second thing we're testing, I'm looking for sustainability enthusiasts, and I want to build a team, of the guys who are really willing to change something. And in my understanding, this is like a very great handicap for the candidate, because he or she has extra motivation, extra source of energy to doing that. And these guys tend to act better because they know what they're for what they're doing that, and giving them opportunity to work at Voltcore and to bring some better future and to fight climate change. This is like the sort of realization I can help to get them. Though I believe that I think I do not have like the single question like Peter Thiel has, and but doing like case studies and speaking about motivation helped me to find proper people, I believe.
Okay, thank you. Switching gears here for the other side, for the investor side. So first, give us a perspective. How did you finance your expansion? So how did you go and look for investors? Or you used your founders' funds? You just bootstrapped, or what is your capital source?
Okay. So yeah, I injected almost all my savings into that business. So I was so confident that it should work. And this is like a part of the funding. The second part is our business angels, but mainly across people who knew us, and people who understand the material science part. Some of these investors are also on our advisory boards, and I'm very happy having them, because these guys came from huge petrochemical companies, led their like R&Ds, like performance materials businesses, etc. And from one side, these guys easily understand what is the perspective of the product that we develop, And so it is the way to convince them to participate. And from the second side, they bring huge, leverage of the knowledge from the corporate firms, very, very large, like Total Energies or Sabic. So we can use it in building our processes, in building our approach to building, like, say, R&D portfolio, product management, project management, etc. We actually haven't attracted any type of funding from institutional VCs currently, because the money that we collected from the angels were actually enough to go with a pilot plant. But currently, but this is really easy to understand that with this type of investors, we're not going to fund second stage. So we're currently getting introduced, and we have, built up the network and connections with, in my understanding, some greatest VC firms in climate tech. And we started this job intentionally, more than a year before the round, just to understand what they're looking for, what are the metrics of the rounds currently, what do they think about the market, what do they think about the product, to build better understanding about what we are doing. And I believe that we have enough time, and we have, like, some already great results in the pocket that can build, the right momentum to attract VC money on the next stage. We have also a couple of negotiations with some corporate funds, and I think that they might be very good source of money sometimes for us, but in the case they are not limiting us to some to one corporation and to one business segment.
Mm-hmm. What is your strategy for negotiating with investors for the next stage? I mean, for the VC investors or strategic investors, like, what's you are looking for, and what are your kind of red lines which you're not going to cross?
Okay, that's maybe I'm not ready to discuss it in very details.
No,
but
that's why I'm asking about the
frankly, as I mentioned, we are focusing mainly on VCs. I'm okay to speak to some strategic guys, but mainly we're on the stage where strategy investors will go within their proprietary VC firms. Yeah, like, because we will be like TRL7 on the next stage. We're still a little bit lower to be a pure partner for a company with, say, 50 billion turnover, right? Mm-hmm. And this is exactly what we have and what I see currently. My personal understanding that in the case that having a strategic investor, even through their proprietary VC fund, won't limit us in terms of development, in terms of openness to work with, any clients we think we should work with. I have no allergy to get money from there. But we do not do, like, some intentional job to convince strategic investors to come up and participate in the round. I'd rather thinking about climate tech VC funds, like our main audience. These guys did, great job last years by understanding what's going on, by understanding where the gaps are, and how to deal with these gaps. And I believe that we are bringing quite good solution to close the gap in CO2 related to heating.
Okay, great, thanks. What do you see then as it seems like, okay, your factory on track, you get in the team, you're talking to investors for the next stage and or immediately for the stage after. What do you see as your main challenge to actually start growing like this year, next year?
Okay. Yeah, I would say that, when you deal in the material business or hardware business, you will see like bottlenecks everywhere.
Okay.
Uh, you know, production, selling, pre-selling, selling, homologation on the client side. It takes time because you know that you're bringing some new product which is related to certain risks, and guys need to be convinced that they can deal with this. They can minimize the risk related to switching to this new material. Moreover, sometimes they need to 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 put a bet on you and be sure you are not getting bankrupt. I just came from Israel and I met some investors and some clients that's just went into some similar thing related to heating, but the company went bankrupt, and they're thinking what they're going to do with that. And for us, it's a good thing because we can easily replace them with even a superior product. But for the companies that they're trying to adopt this innovation, yeah, this is like the problem. And in my understanding, we will need to, how to say, to do this, to iterate each scaling cycle, maybe, 10%, 10%, 20%, 20%, and check that we debottlenecked our process through the whole value chain. So say currently we have an opportunity to do lab scale samples and we deliver in this lab scale. And at this point of time, we are receiving demand for some sub-industrial amounts. So I need to go and bring the sub-industrial amounts, maintain the quality for these sub-industrial amounts to get the proper testing during the winter time. So say for this year, our main goal is to distribute as many sub-industrial samples to be tested during the winter time, and to convince our clients that this is like really workable solution, that they compared it with the former type of material. They received these yields in energy economization, right? And after that, it will be easier to do next step and to sign like larger contracts. In construction, it's related to the winter time. In automotive, it's a little bit easier because you can do almost everything in climate chamber, and only at the end of the proof of the concept, you will put your material inside a vehicle, and then they will go to the Sweden and test it, but also like in the winter time. So doing like this step by step and ensuring we can deliver quality product, the necessary amount that meets client expectation. This is like the right way to grow. But I can see that we're facing bottlenecks everywhere, and this is a hard thing about hardware and material production. You cannot. This is not like distributing your good work in application. So the scaling is way harder, and you need to take care about process of the production, quality of the product, and that might have the same how to say bottlenecks as the addressing the market and convincing the client.
Okay, so you see your focus as a process, your manufacturing process, first of all. That's what I hear. So you will focus on the manufacturing process now to make sure that like this small samples deliveries are up to quality, up to the standard. Then you build your factory, your first factory, and you focus on the process again to make sure that on that scale, you're able to deliver consistent quality, right? And then when you do the next one, you will have to reevaluate your processes, to redesign them, to again ensure that there is a quality, that there's a reliable quality in each of your outputs, right?
Yeah, I believe that generally yes, but I would rather start, from the clients, from the market. So we always start from the client, from the market. We receive like the first confirmation, and the interest on our lab scale samples. And then we went to this like pilot plant. And currently we're starting discussing, as I told you, the amounts like, 1 million square meters. And, our first of a kind plant capacity is 2.5. So it's always like the way how you will meet this demand and how meeting this demand also meet the quality, meet the safety, how you can ensure that while scaling. So this is like the accent I would like to put there. So it's like, yes, it's into iterations. I do not see the problem simply to buy more equipment and to produce more material. But what I'm speaking about is the way how we ensure the quality of the processes, quality of the product, and ultimately safety and efficiency of this product.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Vlad. If you could go back, say, a year from now, go back to a year before, would there be something that you would have done different in any of your actions that you did to, kickstarting this startup?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there are lots of things I would do in a different way.
Okay, say you can do just one.
Yeah, maybe I will put a joke there. I would take like a month sabbatical before jumping into that and to spend some time with my family because it's like currently it's 24/7 and it's like, and I do understand that this is the tempo I should, face like for a couple of years more. Because it's like the growth regime, and you cannot miss the time you have. You cannot miss this window.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's important. If we should take a little detour, but how are you keeping up with this pressure? I mean,
well, it
helps you except for the drive that you have in you.
Yeah, I believe that there are some different approaches to manage work-life balance and to manage energy. And first of all, yeah, I have very good level of energy to do what we plan to do. So this is like I'm not lacking motivation or energy inside. But I try to do like a couple of small stops during the week and to spend an extra couple of hours together with the family. It might be like as small as book reading for my children, or it might be like random eating out with my spouse. And sometimes when we have this opportunity and I have some business meetings and I travel into that, I can take them together with me and just to to show them a little bit of world and spend some extra time during travel and etc. So this is the combination. And I believe that trying to approach say meetings with the clients, meetings with investors, rather meetings with the guys who are sharing your ideas, it helps to minimize stress related. So it's like more meeting your old friends and trying to get things better in the world. So you're feeling like you're within the hobby mindset rather than in the mindset of getting things done on the time schedule, etc. So I believe like changing a little bit your mind and try to find some quality time for family. These are pure recommendations.
Okay, this is interesting comment you had about the hobby mindset, which you kind of blur the lines between what this is your work and this is your hobby. So you basically, it's like, I like doing this.
Yeah, and typically, guys from psychology work, they recommend do different things like put the distinguishes and put the how to say lighter lines and put the cap I'm on the job, put the cap I'm on the hobby. But currently when it's when you find out that your main job is also your hobby, this is a very good thing. No, I would say for me, at least for me.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. So just one last question I have. It's the usual one that I ask all the founders is, what would you recommend the people out there who are thinking about getting their startup up, or just, they actually started doing it? What would be your advice to them?
Okay, I would advise them simply go and start if they want to do that. I frankly believe that our future, because the technology moves so fast, our future will be way more fragmented compared to what we learned out, during working in the big corporations. And currently, even currently, some big corporations are startups itself, or they use startup mindset to manage things within, and to not to miss the opportunities, and to bring new products and new services to the market as soon as it's possible, test them, and make them better, and finally they will survive. And the guys who will continue like doing the former mindset, like doing corporate things, like with 10-year planning horizon, etc. I believe that there will be very little industries that will continue working with this mindset. So we need, doing venture, it's not an easy thing, as we know. This is like the hard thing about that. It's really hard. But there are only two options. You are learning how to deal with that, and you will survive in the new world, and you will know how to teach your children to do that. Or you will, keep your mindset in the former, how to say, corporate related or industry related environment that will keep you within this world that is ending up. So my idea, if you have idea, if you have guts, if you have this energy, and you have good thing to be done, go ahead and try.
Okay, thanks. So thank you very much, Vlad, and thank you for sharing your insight, for sharing these tips, and I wish you very good luck with your first of a kind plant, and that it scales fast, and then next year you can do the step 2 and really grow and abate all those CO2 that the building industry is emitting. So thank you very much for that, and hope to see you soon again, and thank you again.
Thank you, Emin. Very nice questions to be answered, and it was a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Good luck.
Bye.